we see that the state agency is moving with speed to see that this is brought to a stop, and this issue of shares is resolved amicably. Now, still on the same story, we see the Anglican prelate urges the state to resolve NHIF transition confusion. Now, led by the Nyahururu Anglican Diocese Head Bishop Major Samson Gachati, yesterday led a section of Nyandarua and Laikipia political leaders in calling for an end to suffering caused by challenges from NHIF to SHA. Now, that is part of the story. Please grab your copy and read more comprehensively. As we continue, yesterday, remember, Wavinya Ndeti had seen the swearing in of chief officers in Machakos County, and she has assured the residents of Machakos County that she is going to conduct what is called public service initiative audit on issues to the skills to improve the services in Machakos. Please remember, you can also read that story by Genstol Valusi on page 2 of the People Daily newspaper, where you'll find out that at the same time, Wavinya Ndeti, the governor for Machakos County, Her Excellency, is also championing for people to be moved to higher groups. That is, if you're working in a certain group and you have stayed there for a long time, you'll be moved to a group that best suits your skill and for the time you've spent there. Now, that is a story that I believe you need to grab a copy and read more comprehensively. Now, as we continue, for the lovers of tilapia, especially me, I love eating tilapia, and I believe you outside there. Tilapia is a common meal and the most favorite fish along the Nile basin, and from the research it is indicating that we need to be very careful with taking much of tilapia. Why? Because from the research, a story by Miriam Murigi states some of the key issues is that tilapia eats microplastic which are dangerous to our health, and this is as a result of pollution which is being experienced in the lake basins and the Nile basin region. Therefore, we are advised to be very careful with the consumption of tilapia. At the same time, we are urged to make sure we keep our environment clean and we stop pollution of the water bodies, as this will help out. Now, you can read much of that story also in page 3 of the People Daily newspaper. Now we move to page 4 of the People Daily newspaper. Repentant Gachagua begs for forgiveness amid censor bid. Now, last week we saw when members of the parliament tabled a motion to impeach the deputy president from his office, bringing out several allegations, that is abuse of office, incitement, corruption, among many others. Now the deputy president has come out yesterday, came out and repented and asked for forgiveness to whomever he had offended. That is beginning from the president to the political leaders to all Kenyans and also to his wife. Now, deputy apologized on behalf of his spouse Dorcas in fight against alcohol. Now that is part of the story which is there. Now you'll also realize in the story, Rigathi in his knee pleading. These are what the deputy said. Deputy president was seeking forgiveness from President William Ruto MPs hours before he appears before the parliament. That is tomorrow. And also the deputy president asked President William Ruto, Parliament and Kenyans, people of Kenya, to forgive him alongside his spouse Dorcas. Rigathi. Now that's a story by Anthony Mwangi and Mercy Mwai. Please grab your copy and read much more extensively of that story. Now still on that story, we see a story by Gaston Valusi, where CS Mutua, that is Mutua, Alfred Mutua, alleges deputy president tried to overthrow the government. Now that's a story that you also read in the same page 4, where the Labour Cabinet Secretary Alfred Mutua has accused Deputy President Gachagua of attempting to overthrow the government during recent anti-government protest led by the Gen Zs. That is part of what Mutua is saying, and if you continue, you'll realize that Mutua is adding on that when he was sworn in, the statement that he made regarding Kenya shareholding government is part of what he himself deemed that Gachagua is not fit for the office. Now that came when CS had to go to Machakos, leading people on matters to do with hearing and public participation regarding the impeachment of Deputy President in Machakos. Grab a copy of the People Daily newspaper and read. Remember, the People Daily newspaper is a free newspaper. Get to the vendor, get your copy and read more comprehensively. Now, as we continue, Sports Ministry sank 1 billion AFCON consulting. Now that's the story, the big story of the People Daily newspaper today. Now it has been split, and like I told you earlier, the story is all about the loss of money, where it is believed that the Ministry of Sport has dubiously spent 1 billion Kenya shillings on consultancy services, and also the ministry has spent, or the money spent on feasibility studies and consultancy of sports academies is 1.5 billion Kenya shillings. On the same note, we also have 1.3 billion Kenya shillings spent on Kenya Academy of Sports Complex at Kasarani, and also we have also seen a figure of 424 million Kenya shillings for construction of hotel and gate, and also we have seen a figure of 3.1 billion to renovate Kasarani Stadium. Now check on that, because the story is all about having spent all this million. The amount does not tally in with what is seen on the ground. Now the ministry, after sinking all that money, the construction of the facilities does not concur with what is on the ground. Please grab your copy and read that story. It is in page 4, page 5 of the People Daily newspaper. It has a lot. And moving on, and we'll be moving back and forth. As we move back, we also see Ole Sapit urges restraint. That is Bishop of the Anglican Church, Archbishop Jackson Ole Sapit now urges restraint. Dialogue as plan to impeach Gachagua proceeds. That is also there. Please grab your copy and read much more. Also, we also have a story here whereby state agency indicted for keeping over people who are 60 years and above in the office. Now the story is by Mercy Mwai. Some 29 state-owned farms on spot as MPs raised concern over staff dominated by Kalenjin and Kikuyu community. And now that is what is in the story. The story talks about that being part of it, that people who occupy those spaces, who are serving in those offices, mostly Kalenjin and the Kikuyu. Now the state-owned farm agencies are pinned down for failing to utilize other means of advertising for employment opportunities. That is one of them. And they are also saying that some of these state agencies in questions are: one, we have Kenya Electricity Transmission Company, that is KETRACO. We have Kenya Veterinary Vaccines Production Institute. We also have Kenya Animal Genetic Resource Center. We have Export Processing Zone EPZ. We have Kenya Forestry Research Institute KEFRI. We have Uwezo Fund Oversight Board, National Irrigation Authority, among many others. These are some of the state agencies which are accused, one, of keeping people who are above 60 years in the offices. At the same time, there are also the allegations that these firms also have not exercised regional balancing in terms of employment in their offices. Please grab your copy and read that. Just another story, another filler story on page 6. We have a story by Christine Musa, is where journalist that is from Kajiado attend a training on health concerns, that is training on antimicrobial resistance. That's a training that the journalists from that region went through. Please grab your copy and read more. We move into page 8, where we see why the court gave Uhuru a lifeline in party leadership. Remember, Jubilee as a party has been facing a lot of wrangles, but right now the courts have given it back to Uhuru Kenyatta. Now that's a story that you'll need to read, a story by Samuel Karaoke. Now on the same note, we also have a story on the same page, a filler story where the film industry players launch a sex exploitation awareness, a story by Brian Malila. The story says, let me read for you part of the story. Players in the film industry have launched a joint effort to raise awareness on sexual exploitation and harassment in the sector, as well as train actors on how to behave professionally while on the stage. That's a story that I believe you need to grab a copy and read. Now, moving into party issues, we also have Viper rings a major changes among its tops echelons. Please grab story there and read by Anthony Mwangi. We'll be moving with speed. Now as we continue, move to page 10 where we have quotes of the day. Let me read for you some of the quotes of the day. We have one that is from Nakuru Governor Susan Kihika. She's saying traders seek the dignity of their hustle and the places where they trade from, but most of them trade in filthy places where there is no road, sewer, or other amenities, hence attracting people with low purchasing power. Now we also have another quote of the day from Alfred Mutua. We need a TIDA who will be there for all Kenyans and not just a TIDA for particular region, like what the deputy president is doing in dividing Kenyans, which is very wrong. Let me also take another quote from Simba Arati. The ODM party is still in the opposition and playing its role. We agree to form a broad-based government to avoid plunging the country into chaos during the protest. That is what Simbarati is saying. And again, we have the cartoon of the day where we see the media. The media is asking the question to the general public, that is to Wanjiku. What is your opinion on Gachagua's impeachment? And this is what Wanjiku is answering. I want food, I want employment, security, hospital, school, booming economy, and affordable life. Grab your copy and read and find out more of that story. Sorry for that. Now, as we move on the same page, let me give you a thought of the day. A thought of the day here we came all this way to explore the moon. And the most important thing that we discovered, the most important thing that we discovered, the earth. Think of that. That's the thought of the day. Now, moving very fast to page 12, where we have Governor Arati launches campaign to popularize his presidential bid. Now, this is what the governor said. The Kisii County Governor Simba Arati has launched a political campaign to popularize himself across the country as he gears up to vie for the country's top seat. The governor said he is ready to succeed President William Ruto after he completes his tenure, stressing he is ripe to lead the country. Arati, who is ODM deputy party leader, said he is the best suited to take over the presidency if former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga is elected chairman African Union Commission. Now, that is what he's saying. He's saying that in case Raila is elected to be the chairman for the AU, then he is best suited for the office of the president. Please grab your copy and read more extensively. Now, as we move to the same page where we have a story which is also a survey, which is very, very, very important. Now, teens' access to emergency pills over counter are blamed for the abuse. A story is by Samuel Karaoke. Now, report shows that there is increased use of contraceptives by married and unmarried couples. Now, you will realize that from the story, you will realize that the population report shows that some girls consider P2 pills as an ordinary contraceptive. And you also realize the number of teenage pregnancies has reduced as a result of education on matters to do with sexuality and all others. That is a story that I believe you need to grab your copy and read more comprehensively. Now, let us move into the business matters, where we see Kenya in the market for 114.7 billion to revamp JKIA, that is Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. Now, the story is all about the partnership with Adani has, however, sparked public controversy amid ongoing protest against the government policies perceived as favoring privatization. That is part of the story. Please grab your story, grab your copy and read. The story is by Noel Waira. As we move with speed, I'm going to skip and move to the wild stories. In People Daily, we're giving you the wild stories. Egypt's back. Macron's call for halt to arm delivery to Israel. French President Emmanuel Macron has called for a halt on arms delivery to Israel for use in Gaza. You'll also find out that Macron told France Inter Radio that priority is that we return to political solution, that we stop delivering weapons to fight in Gaza. That's a story for the lovers of world stories. Please grab your copy and read that. As we see fresh face in Mozambique polls as independence era leaders bows out. That is moving to Mozambique. Go get your copy and read more comprehensively. Now, my dear viewers, thank you for keeping tuned to BTV. Remember, here is where we give you what to expect in the People Daily newspaper every Monday, and we believe what we are giving you is more important. Let me move lastly to the matters to deal with sports. AFC Leopard task force divided, fans amid call for accountability. Now that's a story that you need to read. Now Chelangat dashes to glory. Now Sheila Chelangat surged past star-studded field with clinch title in 10-kilometer race at Kericho Cross Country. Now a story by Bosco Mugare. Please read that story for the lovers of sport. And we also have a story there that you need to read, that is Abure the Guardian. Kenyans' hope of making a mark at Under-17 World Cup rests heavily on a young goalkeeper capable hands previously produced crucial saves that left opponent frustrated as Kenya majestically marched towards a World Cup berth. Now that you can also read, is a story there, very very important. Kibera Soccer Football welcomes defensive dynamo Brian Munene. Now that's also a story that you'll have to read. Rails, that is rail duo sale deal. Spanish champion win but problems at the league. Las Palmas. Please grab your copy and read. I don't want to get into matters of sports so much because I see the producer is looking at me and he has something to say. You know, he's always anti Manchester United. He has lamented here. He has cried that Aston Villa did not win against Manchester United while he is an Arsenal fan. So take a break, my dear friend. Things are going to get on course. Manchester will bounce back. Moving on to that, we have FKF election in progress. That is Football Kenya Federation election is on progress. Please grab your copy and see. FK election board reassures aspirant and stakeholders of free and fair exercise after it finishes compiling competitions, says all agencies will commence listening to appeal today. Remember, Football Kenya Federation is having election in their respective offices. You can grab your copy and read. Now, I believe this will make you so happy, the producer and the lovers of Arsenal. Havertz withdraws from Germany squad with the knee problem. I hope that will make the Arsenal fans happy. But even with that, remember, it is going to cause Arsenal, if the injury proceeds, it may be tough on them. That's what you need to check on. We also see Old Trafford confirmed deal for highly rated youngster after exciting rival Gunners. Manchester United is here signing Chido Obi Martin. It is going to be tough. Let us just sign in new and good players. Now that is what we have for you for today, what we had for you for today. Thank you for keeping tuned to BTV Kenya. We hope to see you tomorrow, the same time, the same place. Be informed. Remember, in BTV Kenya we bring you credible and information that is informative and that will help you get to know more about what's happening. Remember, BTV Kenya also provide other services ranging from marketing, ranging from advertising, ranging for printing, general printing and large format printing. We also do graphics and design. Please remember to keep in touch with us. Thank you so much for keeping tuned to BTV. Have our lovely week beginning Monday today. Thank you. I'm your host, Isaiah Gage.